Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show at the Italian Revival House. This is in 1908 historic house. Going to show you a bunch of the updates we got going on. Come join me. Look what's going on here, guys. All this decoration has now been taken off. And if you look underneath here, you can see the grain of this wood. You know what that is? It's oak. Okay, so they basically applied that molding and then painted everything. Okay, so we had great oak paneling in here that was then cheapened in my mind with all this decoration, that stuff that was going on here. You can see some of this decoration here. It's basically nailed on. I suspect it was ordered from Decorator Supply. This is historic molding, but if you'll remember, there was a bunch of different architectural details from different periods. For instance, this right here with that swag and that urn, that's a federal detailing, okay? This detail right here with this little flower is kind of more Victorian. And so the way they did this panel is a little bit French Victorian. And so there's all these different styles here, and I guess this went somewhere. Anyway, so we have all these different things that we've stripped away. And so now we know what we've kind of got to deal with, and we can start putting this back together in the right way. I'm now inclined to sit there and go, well, maybe we go back with oak. And maybe if we think about our dining room in there with all that beautiful coffered ceiling in there, we fix that. I want to show you this room and how they put this together. Come check this out. I don't know if you remember, there's a fish tank right here. They've got this funky ceiling inside here, but look at how this was built, okay? So this is 1908, and you see solid masonry construction. This was a porch that opened onto the outside. There was a loggia out there, but we've got original steel headers. What is that, guys? That is a structural clay tile, okay? And so structural clay tiles was something right around the turn of the century they started using because they really wanted things fireproof. And so this was a cheaper way of doing a brick infill than with doing brick. And so if you look at it from this side, right, now you're seeing the original brick of the house. And remember, the brick of the house has that deep mortar that's scraped back. And look what's going on here. They've basically taken this original exterior brick and they've just filled it in, because there's my original mortar lines back here, and now I've just got this infill stuff going over top. So they basically slathered over top of this with mortar, when I used to have this big deep inset like this that gave this house texture, that really gave it a cool look, but this was all changed at some point. We're actually putting a little bit taller header in there and opening these rooms up. So I want to show you real quick, because we're fixing the outside. We're fixing the outside. We'll have to fix that door too. But look what's going on all on that header. Remember, we had that big plastered header going across here. We've pulled it off. They've got tar paper and plywood that they applied the plaster right to, and then applied molding over top of those plaster sections. We're going to break that out. If you watch that design video, we're actually going to have a full entablature here with a balustrade above. So we've redesigned this, reworked this, but we're stripping away all that 80s crap, right, that looks so bad, that really cheapened this house. And so we're going to fix that, and that's the reason we're taking all that down. Now we see we've got all these pilasters open, and you actually can look and see the sky right through there. Basically, the construction of this was these steel posts. And you can actually see there's a steel beam going across there, especially in this side over here, holding this whole area up. But if you saw my design video, they want a fireplace there. That fireplace is going down. None of this is original, right? If you remember that original picture I have, this rotunda was basically an open air. And sometime in the last 30, 40, 50 years, they've added this rotunda piece on top. And so we're going to fix that. So when you come in the front door, it'll actually align with this fireplace that's right here. It'll be really pretty, very handsome. But we're reorienting our columns around here. We're picking this one up, moving it there, changing the way the windows and the glass work, but it really should be a dramatic space when we're done. And if you saw my design video, there's my entablature up there at the top. We're going to have a different size entablature for the interior than for the exterior, because we've got to stretch it to meet the roof at the top, along with that balustrade that we're putting on top. So a lot of kind of technical, fun things that we're doing in here, but we've really learned a lot as we've opened this up, what's going on. One of the things we're doing is we're taking this marble floor out. You know, marble is an appropriate historic material for an Italian revival house. The problem is the Italians would never have laid it down like this. I mean, it looks like they got a deal at Floor and Decor, right? And just bought all the brown marble that they could get. Historic marble would have been, you know, you would have had the different rooms broken out doing different things. You would have had patterns, you'd have borders. They would have dressed it up more. Now it's just kind of all marble, and it doesn't give distinction between these rooms, and the compartmentalization that they would have had historically, now you're in the entry, now you're in the stair hall, now you're in the dining room, is lost when you just run the floor through there. So we're gonna fix that with our new floor. So I don't know if you remember this, there was a fireplace in here. It didn't vent anywhere, as you can see. They had that wood insert, but this was just really more decorative. We're gonna take this out. We do not need it. It's kind of cumbersome. If anything, we'd want a fireplace on this wall that you could see coming down, but we're not gonna be able to do that. But look what all we did back here in the kitchen. We've really, you know, we've taken down the countertops, taken out that floor that was really inappropriate, and opened this space up a ton. Now all the cabinets are gone, now all the appliances are gone, and you can start getting back to how this room's really supposed to feel. So I like how this is coming together. I like the light in here. I mean, this big arch and all those windows opening up into here really open up this kitchen, and it really is an inviting space. One problem is it's kind of sanctioned off from the rest of the house. So we're actually going to have a door that opens on that other side. It'll open through there, create better flow in this house, because you can get kind of compartmentalized over here. I've also sketched up a couple ideas for how to divide these spaces. One with a more complete arch that goes across there with a really heavy keystone. Another one with a kind of pilasters on either side, or a cased opening that holds these things up. So those are two different ways of thinking about, you know, we want to bring in good moldings into this house, and all that heavy ornamentation that you've used in the past, we want to get rid of. We want to go back to that strong classicism that's so beautiful. So we're going to be introducing better moldings, better details, and get rid of a lot of this, you know, decorative stuff that this last owner went crazy with. So one of the other ideas we had, instead of having this trade ceiling or this kind of mini vault or whatever you want to call it, this reads to me as very 1980s, very maybe 1990s. It doesn't read as timeless. And so we've talked about the idea of a barreled vault in here. And so I sketched out an idea of having the trim come in and then this really soft barrel in here, which would be a really pretty, handsome way of treating this room. But now that we're up here, I want to look outside and show you what's happened to that ugly entablature and our demo that's going on here, and the great view that we've got coming up. So out here, right, this is magical, and looking west, you can see this incredible view. I'm not sure which is uglier, the tar paper or the old stucco. But you can see how they made it up. You can see that how they had built it out, how they had built up their system. And it was just plywood and tar paper, right? And so the stucco was applied right to the tar paper, and that's why they kicked it out and laid it over. We're actually gonna be pushing that whole structure back quite a bit, so it's really gonna be less nosy and less proud and loud, and so it should be a much more beautiful statement once we get that put in there in the right way. But really getting away from that, you know, 80s look really will help this house. Okay guys, so that's the update. What do you think? It's an amazing house. We're just really finishing up demo here in the next month or so. And so we'll start putting it back together. We'll start reframing. We'll start fixing this house the way it needs to be fixed. But we've got a timeless house, 1908, beautiful construction that we really want to fix and make cohesive. So keep following, because this is going to be a great project.